Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We are here to process a stack of sources, articles, research papers, field notes, and bring you the most critical knowledge you need without all the overload. Today, we're doing something really fascinating. We're diving deep into a single marine ecosystem, the waters around Sri Lanka. It's just an incredible hotspot for sharks, and our sources have cataloged an astonishing 24 different species right there. So our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to get past the usual myths, the fear. We're going to try to quickly understand their specialized roles, their behaviors, some of which are pretty surprising, and most importantly, the conservation realities they're all facing. By the end of this, you'll see a shark not just as a predator, but as a really finely tuned ecosystem worker.
And that's the essential context for this whole deep dive. I mean, when you say 24 species, you're talking about a complete functional spectrum. We're not just looking at, slight variations of the same animal. The sources cover everything from these small, bottom-dwelling creatures, less than a meter long, all the way up to the largest fish in the ocean. It's like the entire evolutionary history of sharks all swimming right there off the Sri Lankan coast.
Okay, let's start at the absolute top of that scale then. When people think shark, they usually think teeth. But the largest one in these waters and in the world is kind of defined by its lack of aggression.
Right. We're starting with the whale shark. It's this truly gentle giant. It can get to these monumental lengths, sometimes pushing, 18 meters.
18 meters, that's just, it's hard to even picture.
It really is. And it's a slow-moving filter feeder. Its diet is almost entirely plankton, tiny fish, crustaceans. So you have this incredible paradox of, immense scale, but total passivity.
So what's the conservation status for a creature that massive? You'd think its sheer size would offer some protection.
You would think so, but unfortunately not. The whale shark is listed as endangered. Because they're migratory and they spend so much time near the surface, they're really susceptible to boat strikes. And then there's also the risks from fishing and disruption to their feeding grounds.
Okay, so let's pivot completely. From the gentle filter feeder to the top-tier hunters, the apex predators. And it's really important to stress here, our sources give them a medium danger rating, but encounters with people are extremely rare.
Exactly. First up, the iconic great white shark. These are just powerful animals, 4 to 7 meters, defined by that robust, conical shape. They're the quintessential solitary hunter, famous for these incredible bursts of speed.
And that speed is what gives them that spectacular ability to breach, right? When they leap completely out of the water.
Yes, usually when they're hunting surface prey. Globally, they're listed as vulnerable, which means they face a high risk of extinction in the wild.
Okay, so if the great white is the powerhouse, the tiger shark is the ultimate opportunist.
Definitely. You can recognize them by those dark stripes that, they fade as the shark gets older. And they have these legendary powerful jaws that can eat, anything.
Yeah, their diet is what really stands out in the sources. I mean, it lists fish, turtles, seabirds, dolphins, all seems pretty standard. But then it adds that they're known to eat garbage.
And that is a really crucial piece of insight for you listening. It means human debris is now part of the natural food chain, even in these remote ocean environments. The tiger shark is often a nocturnal hunter, and it's currently classified as near threatened.
And to round out this top-tier group, we have the oceanic white tip.
Right. You recognize them by those long, rounded fins with the striking white tips. The sources describe them as bold, opportunistic, curious.
Not a combination you really want to encounter.
Well, they embody the risk of the open ocean. They're not a huge concern near coastal areas, but they are considered one of the most dangerous species if a person is stranded out at sea. And tragically, this highly effective hunter is now one of our biggest concerns. It's listed as critically endangered. That's the highest level of threat. It means they are facing an imminent risk of extinction.
So moving from those big surface predators, let's talk about the sharks that look like they swam straight out of the fossil record, going down deep now to the really unusual primitive species.
And what defines these older evolutionary lines is usually their gill structure. Most modern sharks have 5 gill slits. These ancient ones kept more. The blunt-nosed six-gill is a perfect example.
6 gills.
6 gills. It's got this big, thick body, a blunt snout, and like the name says, 6 gill slits.
So why the extra gills? Does that give them some kind of advantage?
It connects them to an older form of respiration, something adapted for colder, lower oxygen water. So the 6-gill is slow-moving, it spends its life deep down, and its main role is as a deep-sea scavenger, cleaning up carrion.
A cleaner. So losing it would affect ecosystems we can't even really see. And its status is near threatened.
Exactly. And its close relative is the broad-nosed seven-gill shark.
7 gills.
Yeah.
Even more primitive.
Even more, it has 7 gill slits, a wide head, and a really powerful bite. It's a bit more active, found in both coastal and deep waters, and it's listed as vulnerable. It's just fascinating to see these, evolutionary relics surviving alongside modern predators.
And speaking of surprising defenses, let's talk about the bramble shark. The name is almost funny, but the description of its skin is incredible.
It's a true deep-sea oddity. Its body is thick, and its skin isn't smooth at all. It's covered in these large, sharp, thorn-like denticles.
Like spiny armor.
Exactly. Imagine a shark covered in massive spikes for protection against other deep-sea hunters.
So it's basically the ocean's version of sandpaper, built for the deep.
Precisely. It's solitary, nocturnal, and we almost never see it. And that brings us to a really important point in our sources. It's listed as data deficient.
Meaning we just don't know enough.
We don't have enough information to even classify its threat level, which just highlights how much we still have to learn about these deep-sea specialists.
Okay, let's come up a bit from the deep and turn to sharks that have evolved a very unique physical tool for hunting. I mean, species where one body part defines their whole strategy.
We have to start with the thresher sharks. Their defining feature is that extremely long upper part of their tail fin, which can be almost as long as the rest of their body.
And that tail isn't just for show, right? It's a weapon. How do they actually use it?
It's incredibly deliberate. They'll herd schools of small fish or squid, and then they use that huge tail as a whip.
A whip?
Yes, a whip. It generates this powerful shockwave or just blunt force to stun or kill the prey. It's one of the most specialized hunting techniques in the ocean.
And the sources list 3 different species here.
Yeah.
The common thresher, the pelagic thresher, and the big-eye thresher, which has better night vision.
And what connects all 3 of these amazing hunters is a shared tragedy. They are all listed as vulnerable. Because they're highly migratory and they're often offshore, they face intense pressure from commercial fishing. That unique tail doesn't protect them from being caught as bycatch.
So if the threshers are defined by their tail, the next group is all about the head, the hammerheads. That shape is so bizarre, but it's apparently an engineering marvel.
Oh, absolutely. That hammer-shaped head, the cephalofoil, it's a sensory platform. The wide-set eyes give them excellent binocular vision, but the real key is it maximizes the surface area for their electroreceptors.
So they can sweep the seabed and find hidden prey.
Exactly. They can detect the faint electrical fields of things like stingrays buried in the sand. It's the definition of a specialized hunting tactic.
And among them, we have the largest, the great hammerhead.
Right. The great hammerhead is a solitary hunter, a true giant. But intense fishing pressure has pushed it into the endangered category. They just take a long time to mature, so their populations recover very, very slowly.
And you contrast that with the scalloped hammerhead, which is fascinating because it's social.
Yes. They often form these large, sometimes massive schools, and they're highly migratory.
Which I imagine makes them even more vulnerable.
It does. That schooling behavior makes them a huge target. And connecting this back to our biggest concerns, the scalloped hammerhead is listed as critically endangered, right up there with the oceanic whitetip.
Now let's shift gears and focus on the smaller, often shyer sharks that are vital workers right near the reefs and shores. These are generally low danger, but they're essential for local ecosystem health.
Let's start with the blacktips. The blacktip shark is common in warm coastal waters, known for its speed and agility.
And what about that incredible behavior they have? The sources mention something really spectacular.
It's known for spinning and leaping completely out of the water, sometimes called breaching or porpoising. It's an amazing sight, really showcases their explosive energy.
And then there's its cousin, the blacktip reef shark, which is much more localized.
Right, this one is a perfect example of a reef stabilizer. It's confined to shallow coral reefs. It's shy, non-aggressive, but it plays a key role in keeping that ecosystem balanced by controlling smaller fish populations.
Okay, moving on to the reef and sand dwellers. I'm really curious about the sand tiger shark. It has those long, needle-like teeth that are always showing. It looks terrifying, but it's described as non-aggressive.
It's all about neutral buoyancy. Most sharks have to keep swimming to stay afloat. The sand tiger shark has this unique trick. It gulps air at the surface and holds it in its stomach.
So it can just float.
It can hover motionless in the water, which is a huge advantage for stalking prey near the bottom. It's a slow swimmer, and it's listed as vulnerable.
Next up, the gray reef shark. The interesting note here is its communication style.
Yeah, what's fascinating about the gray reef is its threat display. If it feels provoked, it won't just attack. It performs this clear warning, arching its back, swimming in exaggerated movements, and lowering its pectoral fins. It's a clear back-off signal. It's near threatened.
Another resident is the lemon shark, which gets its name from its yellowish-brown color, a great camouflage for sandy areas.
The lemon shark is highly social, but the most important ecological detail is its use of mangroves.
As nurseries.
Exactly. These shallow coastal environments are critical nurseries for their juveniles. If we lose the mangroves, we lose the next generation of these sharks. And it's also near threatened.
We also have the slim, fast milk shark, which is very low danger, and then we get to the absolute smallest species on the list.
The smallest ones are key to completing the whole picture. You have the coral cat shark, which is maybe 80 centimeters max, and the gray bamboo shark, which gets to about 120 centimeters. They're harmless, nocturnal bottom dwellers. And the gray bamboo shark is exceptional because it can breathe while just resting on the seafloor, conserving energy. But both are unfortunately affected by the illegal aquarium trade. It shows how even the smallest sharks are under threat.
So if we pull back and look at all 24 of these species, the thing that really stands out is this profound shared conservation crisis. This is the real why it matters.
It absolutely is, and the threats are disproportionately hitting the top of the food chain. We talked about the critically endangered list, the scallop hammerhead, and the oceanic whitetip. Then the endangered list features the giant whale shark, the great hammerhead, and another fast one, the longfin mako. These are the giants, the specialized hunters, and they are facing collapse.
What are the common pressures? What's driving so many of them toward extinction?
You see a really clear pattern of human activity. First, there's overfishing. It's hitting the migratory ones, the hardest threshers, blue sharks, makos. Then you have bycatch, so accidental capture. That's devastating for the threshers and the silky shark. Third is the brutal global fin trade, which targets the high-value predators like the great white, the hammerheads, the tiger shark. And finally, habitat loss is just eliminating those crucial coastal nurseries for sharks like the sandbar, the lemon shark, and the little coral cat shark.
So losing these sharks isn't just about numbers. It means the irreplaceable jobs they do will just vanish.
Precisely. You lose the threshers, you lose the specialist that controls schooling fish, you lose the blacktip reef shark, the coral reef becomes unbalanced, you lose the deep-sea scavengers like the blunt-nosed sixgill, and the health of those deep ocean zones is compromised. Every single species has a defined, interconnected role.
What an incredible survey of adaptation and peril. If you take away just 3 things from this deep dive, remember the skin of the bramble shark, covered in those thorn-like spikes. Remember the threshers using their huge tail as a high-velocity whip to stun prey. And remember the critical role of mangroves as protected nurseries for the lemon shark.
Yeah, as we've seen, this list covers a huge evolutionary timeline. From the ancient bottom-dwelling gray bamboo shark to the highly migratory longfin mako, we've really only scratched the surface of how connected these 24 species are. And this brings us to our final thought for you to consider. The sources noted that the diet of the tiger shark includes human garbage. This raises a really sobering question about our oceans. How deeply has our waste penetrated the diets of apex predators, even those far offshore? And if a nocturnal deep-sea scavenger like the blunt-nosed sixgill, which rarely even interacts with surface life, is listed as near-threatened, what does that tell us about the hidden, invisible pressures that are now threatening the deepest, most remote ecosystems on the entire planet?